for me, I'm like, this is like how my dad is in love with Penelope Cruz and Salma Hayek. Yeah,
Sure.
let's unpack my dad's two obsessions being Latino women another time.
Good boys.
Boys.
Welcome to Good Boys.
I've had an urge to be like, it's going down, but it's like in my head now.
It's does this ever happen when you're like in the back of your head it's like running a query? Because ever since we were talking about the ludicrous, like my brain is like trying to find more examples of those lines, but it's just coming up empty. So it's just this like
It's just
hamster
like running.
wheel. Yeah.
It's not, my brain doesn't do that, but my brain is like rapping in the back while I'm talking to you in the front.
Yeah.
You know?
What is it rapping in the back? It's like
ludicrous song.
Oh,
but all the way from like start to finish with like the beat and everything's there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wait. So you have your are you calling it a bandana?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have your bandana on, and you're like, I'm rapping in the back, and I'm literally picturing, like Voldemort from the first Harry Potter movie, and I'm picturing that you have like ludicrous. And do you know the Harry Potter reference?
Yeah. No.
Oh,
I mean, I've watched the movies,
Professor
but I cannot remember.
Quill or
Quill?
something. Like the professor in the first one, basically Voldemort is like possessed him, and so Voldemort's head is in the back of his head.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
he
yeah,
wears this like
Yeah, yeah,
turban like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
thing.
Sure.
And so I'm picturing you
That,
have like a
like,
rapper in the
ludicrous
back,
is there.
and you're gonna take your bandana off.
I love that. What a niche and specific.
I know,
reference.
but
no,
that's
it's
just
perfect.
immediately what this is new for you.
Oh, no,
You're
yeah.
not typically wearing a wrap on
Well,
your head.
I used to. So
Okay.
like before, when I had braids,
Yeah.
I used to wear one all the time. But then I got into a vibe of getting a fade. I was
Yeah.
obsessed with that, and so it's been many years. So yeah, but now I'm growing my hair out. I don't even know for sure, but I'm growing it out right now. So it looks it needs to be covered. Is what I'll say.
Tell us, me and the listeners, what's the goal with growing it out?
Well, I've had lots of different versions of braids, but I really want to get cornrows, or cane rows. I think in the UK we say cornrows, but I don't know. Do you say cane rows?
I don't.
You don't say
I don't say anything. But cornrows, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
What's the second one you were saying?
Cane rows?
I'd never even
Or
heard
maybe
that.
that's the UK one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. Which derives from the sugar cane plantains.
Oh, okay.
Plantations.
Yeah.
But anyway, we won't get into that.
Yeah. I think both seem to be derivative of
totally.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
did you know that? Sorry to interrupt you,
Yeah.
especially to interrupt you with this, but I learned it a couple months ago that they would use the cornrows to like communicate to each other,
like maps and stuff.
Yeah, like
that's
that
where it
is
comes
so
from,
fucking cool,
isn't it? It's dope.
I knew that it like came from like those times and like, you know, what the structure of the actual cornrows, but I didn't know that it was like maps and like communication
so cool,
and stuff. I mean, it's horrifying that it's that, but it's so cool that.
Yeah, exactly. But I've never, not since I was a kid, had cornrows to my head. You know what I mean? And so I wanted to do that, but my hair takes ages to grow out. So my plan is to grow it out a couple of inches, get some extensions, and do them. But I don't know, because also ages ago I used to. Do you remember? Did we know each other then when I used to shave it and dye it blonde?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm weighing up between doing one of those, so I'm trying to figure it out.
I do that every couple quarters. I'll like shave it and do some blonde.
Yeah.
I think I might do blonde for the summer.
That's what I was thinking. I want something different for the summer to feel like it's summer now.
Yeah.
And I'm not filming anything over the summer, which means I can do what I want with my hair, which is rare.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know. Yeah.
Exciting. I was thinking of going blonde for the summer, or I want to like intentionally put salt and pepper in my hair.
Cute.
Like I want gray. My sister's starting to get like a few like gray strands, and she'll FaceTime me when she finds new ones because she knows I love it so much. And like my mom, her hair is like, it's like a couple different shades. It's like shades of white, dark gray, light gray. It's beautiful. I love it. And she's like, I think I'm gonna like start dyeing it blonde again. And I'm like, Mom, I'm begging you, like, do not do that. And she's like, well, I just feel so like old. But I'm like, you're 65. One, you're supposed to have this color hair, and it looks so good on you.
I agree.
And her hair's curly now ever since from having cancer and like chemo, and when her hair grew back, it grew curly. So she's got this like beautiful gray silver anyway. And I'm telling my sister, I'm like, don't color correct your gray hair. And I get a couple of them, but I want my whole head to be like salt and pepper.
I love that.
I think it's such a fun look, but we'll see.
It's coming for everyone, so you'll get it eventually.
Yeah.
No.
We'll see. I don't know. That's hair. That's
That's
hair
it.
corner.
That's the
Wow.
corner of hair. So what's been going on? Have you been a good boy this week? I know that we promised last time that we would prep beforehand, and I have not.
Yeah.
But so I'll let you go first and panic. My ludicrous will panic in the
Yeah.
back, trying to figure out.
People who are not watching the video are like, what the fuck are they talking about? Yeah, I've been a good boy. You know,
You said earlier, which I thought was interesting, that good boys are patient. I was
did
thinking
say
about that. I was
Yeah.
thinking about that a lot. Are you a patient guy?
I think it depends, but I think like overall, generally speaking, I'm patient. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't ever find myself getting really. The only time that I really find myself being impatient is like I don't like to be late for things, and so like I care about that. Like I don't want some. I think it's disrespectful to be like late and stuff. So then I'll get like impatient. But other than that, I'm like pretty chill.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
I have the same thing with lateness. I really struggle with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is Brit a late kind of person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I intentionally didn't say because I was like I can't always like show the dichotomy between.
But I think
me and Brit,
that these things are like stereotypical and also true of like
Yeah.
that just happens to be. I think that's how we map together as humans. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like, I have bad traits where M's are good and vice versa,
Yeah.
and whether maybe it's not even good or bad.
Totally.
She does not. Being late does not stress her out.
Yeah.
Being late stresses me out.
Here's the thing. It'll stress Brit out, but not enough to make her not be late. If that makes sense. So
It
she
does
will be
make
running
sense.
late and be frantic and
I got it.
anxious.
I think, yeah.
So and
yeah.
here's the perfect example of like where I get like impatient is because I try not to like I have a tendency to micromanage, and I really put a lot of like daily effort into like don't do that for like other people because it's not cool. Like
Right.
I don't think it's a good quality of mine necessarily.
Sure.
And so like if we're going somewhere, let's say we're going to a show, and she maybe like took longer to do her hair and makeup than she expected, she'll be like, okay, we're late, I'm going to call an Uber. And in my head, I know immediately the Uber's not going to get us there quicker. I think she equates getting in a car rather than a train
Like
as like
quicker,
safer, quicker, more comfort, like because you're going to be frantic. And I'm like, I know we're going to be sitting on the fucking
Sure.
West Side Highway
In
or,
traffic,
whatever,
yeah.
in traffic in this car. But I can't argue that with her because she'll already be anxious about being late. So
Right.
I give that to her, and then we're like sitting in bumper to bumper traffic,
And you're just
I'm
like quiet, like
if we
I
just
should have
took the
said
train, we
anything.
would've,
Yeah.
like, do you do pre-workout when you work out?
Sometimes if I work out in the morning, I sort of have to because I just can't get it
Yeah.
done on an empty stomach. But like after work, no, because
Yeah.
I've eaten all day.
Yeah.
Do you?
I don't, but like I think that I should start because I was at the gym last night like deadlifting and I'm like yawning, but I don't
Yeah.
like the feeling of like I had too much of a coke phase to like want to feel
Like yeah.
like a butt, like it kind of freaks me out now. But I think that I need to do like something to feel more energy.
Yeah. Maybe.
And then there's guys at the gym that are like,
traditional-
and I'm like, I don't want to be in a
Well,
frenzy.
The traditional pre-workout is like very caffeinated.
Yeah.
And for me, a pre-workout is just like, a protein shake with some sugar or like,
Oh, okay.
a little like sweet treat or something to just give me enough glucose so that I can like build my muscle without deteriorating it down.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's everyone that has like studied biology is like, nope, but something, but something like that. Do you know
Please
what I mean?
comment. Yeah.
Yeah, please comment and correct me. But I just need a bit of glucose, a bit of sugar. So that's my version of a pre-workout. I don't
Yeah.
think all this caffeinated, it's not for me either.
Yeah. Well, that and like like people will be drinking like I've never had a Celsius. I've never
Me neither.
had a Monster, or I've had Red Bull with vodka. But like I don't drink energy drinks like that. But like people are like slamming a Celsius before the gym, and
Is
I'm
it?
like, do I need to start doing that? I don't want to.
No, I don't think so. Also, you're building muscle with the stuff that you're doing. You showed me that sick before and after photo of your
Yeah.
of your biceps.
Mhm.
Impressive.
Thank you.
Impressive.
Really putting in that work.
Oh yeah.
I deadlifted 125 last night, which was
That's
a
amazing.
new one for me.
So good.
Yeah. I'm excited to go more. Wait, but so Good Boy specifically for this
yeah,
week,
sorry.
I'm going to throw you guys through a loop because usually mine are very like wholesome and
They're
whatever.
always wholesome.
My
we do
good-
nothing bad, and
That's
I think
not
we
true.
need to start. We need to start being like, have you been a bad boy this week?
No, that's not true because I was a bad boy earlier last week. But my Good Boy
Say that. The listeners want to hear that.
Well, because it has to do with what we're going to talk
Be
about today.
relatable. Okay.
It has to do with what we're going to talk
Okay, go.
about today, and so I'm going to save it for that. But I have been playing Fortnite with the boys. This is my good boy because
Love that.
I'm realizing there's these things that I just like wrote off and like made judgments about pre-transition. I don't know how much transition has to do with it, but like I don't think I would have gotten into Fortnite if I didn't transition. And like my guy friends were texting in the group chat and they're like, okay, like I know this how this is gonna sound, but like you guys need to download Fortnite so we can like play together. It's really, really fun. And so like my two guy friends did, and then I was like, sure, I'll like check it out. It is so much fun.
No way.
And I used to be like, oh my god, like Fortnite, like blah, blah, blah. One, it overstimulated me to even see people play. Like I'd see clips on TikTok and I'd be like, no. It is genuinely so much fun and I cannot stop playing. And like last night I got to like go on a joint FaceTime with like 3 of my buddies and like play on a team together like in real time.
Oh, that's cute.
And like that was really fun, and it feels like a nice way to like hang out with my friends when I cannot physically like go to an open mic or like hang out or go to Brooklyn or something.
Yeah.
And so that was really fun. I'm a carpenter, and I'm like, you transitioned just so that you can end up as Sabrina Carpenter on
$7
Fortnite.
is cheap for that, I think.
I'm just like, that's a coffee.
Yeah, totally.
But I'm just like army man, white.
Yeah.
Like that's my
Yeah, yeah.
avatar. But I'm like, I don't need it to be anything else.
This just reminded me of like my little nephews. My sister had a thing where somehow like the Apple Pay thing got attached to his little game on his phone, and then like all of a sudden there's £200 worth of like stuff from these games that you can just like, it just happens so quickly. And anyway,
I used to have my mom's credit card hooked up to my Club Penguin account, and I would spend real money on Club Penguin stuff.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And even more so, I don't know if I ever said this, but my 2 nephews are autistic. Both one completely nonverbal and one sort of a little does have some verbal communication, but not fully. And it made me think the other day, maybe this is completely off piece, but it reminded me that like one of them was buying these things without any conscious like thing of like, my sister was like, what the fuck is going on? And then the other one, his name's Solomon, he's amazing, he's completely nonverbal, but he has a phone. And he knows, like, for example, he uses it in times of like need, if he needs to call my sister or whatever, he can do those things. But while I was on holiday with my sister like a year ago, we sat by the pool, and she got a notification from Apple saying that she'd had an iPad, 2 iPhones, and a case delivered to her house.
That's thousands of dollars.
And she was like, "What is this?" And he had managed to purchase these things. I guess it's like also that's how intuitive Apple is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That like you can just buy these things. And he just purchased them all and sent them to the house. Yeah,
because if you're on an Apple product, it's really easy to buy other Apple products because 100%. You just like double click the side button.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It was crazy. And
was she able to return them?
Yeah, well, she panicked in the moment and was trying to figure. I mean, I thought this was the most hilarious thing I've seen. It also made me think like the human. Not to get too deep, but I think when we so this particular nephew, like I said, is not verbal, but then we think that means that he doesn't understand. I mean, I think he understands way more, but there is a depth to him, clearly, because he's making these conscious decisions. He's also really into fashion. Yeah. Which is a very Freeman trait. But he's very, and so I think we just loop. I don't know if you've been watching Love on the Spectrum.
Only through TikTok, but also just I have family members with autism also.
Okay, cool. But I love that the show is on because it there is so much depth to folks that have autism, especially ones that are nonverbal. I know there's no nonverbal folks on the show, but like there's so much to my nephew that like, and everyone was, even us in the family, was so surprised. You know what I mean? And I was really trying to challenge myself because I was like, he sat there and he was like, I'm going shopping. He's like, I want a new iPad. He has one, by the way, but this was an upgraded, and then he's like, and I want these 2 phones. They were different. And he chose a case, like a color, whatever, and then decided that's great. Yeah. These are the things I want. And I just thought that's dope. I almost really wish I had the cash to be like, keep them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because like, these are great choices. You know what I mean? But no, we just sent them back because it was crazy. And you can't just buy thousands and thousands of dollars worth of stuff.
That's so funny.
But anyway, that's a complete side note. And I'm loving it. If you haven't watched Everybody Love on the Spectrum, please watch it. it will make you sob hard. But
Yeah, there's a really fun lesbian story.
it's a really fun
line.
lesbian story.
Well, not storyline. It's real people, but
Have you?
yeah.
So you haven't watched it?
No, just like clips on TikTok. I don't watch a
Okay.
lot of reality TV, and I'm actually in the middle of so many like scripted shows right now that like it sounds so. I'm like I don't have time to add
No,
a new show,
totally, yeah.
but I'm watching a bunch right now, and so
Okay.
yeah.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm loving it. I was gonna ask you what you thought about it because I wasn't even planning to talk about this, but I'm gonna ask you. There's a thread on the show. There's a couple. There's a woman that she really wants to have sex. Have you seen this?
Which, the queer ones
Yeah,
or
no, they're not queer.
what are the names? I know some of the names.
I forgot. I don't know. I need a
Okay.
producer check on it. But there's a couple, and the guy doesn't want to have sex before marriage, and the girl is like very eager to have a physical relationship. And what's so interesting about it is that like I guess because they're autistic, there's just a freedom in speech around like there's less of a filter, and so it's such an interesting. I was sitting there with them watching, and I was like, gosh, it's so interesting because these are two people that are just giving their full truth.
I know, I love it.
Just like this with nothing else in, you know what I mean? And it's so refreshing to watch. I was listening to it and I was like, God. And I saw this like meme on TikTok about saying that people are learning. I mean, it was a joke saying they're learning how to be in relationships from these people. But I'm like, yeah, for sure. Because there's such good communication. Like this guy, I think his name is Tanner. He like went on a date.
Tanner.
Oh, Tanner's great.
Yeah.
He went on a date.
And he was
then
like, I don't want to go on another date with you, right?
He's like, I don't think there's a connection, but we can still be friends.
Yeah,
you know?
he wants someone he can talk to, and
But I just thought we don't do that. Instead, as in we,
I
the
ghost.
collective we ghost, or we say like, oh, I'm not sure, and then we
I'm
fuck
having a
people
really
around.
bad time mentally right now.
Exactly. I was
I
like,
know,
oh
we have
my
so much
God.
joy. I know.
So anyway, I've just been feeling so wholesome and wonderful about that show. Anyway, go.
I just wanted to shout out like the queer shit I'm watching right now, because usually it's like, oh, like I'm watching something, it's great, but it's not queer. But
Sure.
I'm watching a show right now on Hulu called Dying for Sex.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, we all love.
I started watching. Well, I'm only like 2 episodes in.
Yeah, my buddy Sabrina Wu, who's like a fantastic comedian, writer, like everything, was in Joyride
Right.
a couple of years ago, is like a story editor on either the show or like a couple of episodes. Transmask Human, really fun. But it, like Robbie Hoffman was in an episode, and there was some Marcelo Hernandez from like SNL, but it's a fun one.
Yeah.
I haven't had like that much fun watching a show like that in a while, I feel like, and it's like sexy, and like Michelle Williams is so hot and cute, and Jenny Slate too.
It's fun.
It is fun.
And it's devastating.
Yeah.
You'll both cry and laugh and maybe get a bit horny. I don't know.
But here's the thing. I get horny watching it because she's doing all this, like, this isn't spoilers. She's doing all this like sub-dom stuff and like figuring out how to kind of like be a dom and everything. And like, I find both of those angles really hot. And also, just to say, crying, not a disqualifier for me in terms of like sex and like being ready for sex. In fact, I get really horny when I'm sad.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's talk. I mean, I know I haven't talked about how I'm going to be a good boy, but this feels juicy. Tell me, tell me about that.
It's not like it's not like it's like more horny when I'm sad than when I'm happy. Like, it's not like I want to go to that, if that makes sense. But like, if I'm crying or like you know how, okay, so like in a typical dynamic, you would assume like if I'm sitting here crying because I was just like venting about something and you were my partner, you would be like, not a good time to initiate sex. For me, I'm like, we can still do it because I really like passionate, like intimate, like where like I'm crying while hooking up. It hasn't happened in a while.
Yeah.
Like I haven't, probably years, but
you have the capacity to like bridge into sex when you're
absolutely
crying.
And I think it's because I like that intimacy and like that vulnerability, like leading into like a sexual moment.
No, that makes sense to me. It's not for me. I rarely cry. I gotta stop saying that, I think, because I've been crying more recently. I don't know if it's testosterone or what.
No, in fact it's despite of the testosterone.
Yeah, maybe I'm just getting more vulnerable or tapped into myself. But anyway, I'm not usually a crier, but when I do cry, I'm not I don't feel horny at all.
Yeah.
I feel like quite raw. Maybe that's why I feel quite raw and open and like maybe too vulnerable for sex, maybe.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But anyway, so that was my thing, and then The Last of Us came back this week,
sure.
and Britt and I went back and we watched the first season of The Last of Us to like prep for this new season, and I'm just like, like such beautiful queer storytelling for also the gay male episode, and then also for just like Ellie's storyline and everything. And it's just really done well, which I have to credit to the video game doing it really well, which is just crazy to me that they got it so perfectly. But and of course, like the first episode back in season 2, it's like a beautiful queer episode.
It is?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, when I had posted on my story, and I was like a couple weeks ago, I was like, Britt and I just finished rewatching season 1. Like I can't believe that like 2 of the most beautiful queer episodes of TV I've ever watched like belong to a video game. And a couple of my like industry insiders who get screeners and stuff responded to me, and they were like, and also people who played the video game, they were like, hey, so like literally just wait for season 2, you're gonna die. And I was like,
Okay.
what could possibly, like, what could be going
this?
on? And like
Yeah.
the first episode back, me and Britt are like like we're like crying, but
Crying and then having sex immediately after.
yeah, well, no, because she's not into that.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah,
Sorry, Brit. I feel like we're always putting Brit on blast by mistake, you know?
no, I think it's okay to say that she doesn't want to have cry sex. That's fine.
I've never asked them if she wants to have cry sex, but it'll be my first point of call.
Yeah.
You know, later on. Okay.
I don't know what else I'm watching, but I wanted to shout those 2 things out because
No, I
I
love
think they're
that.
really fun.
The only thing I've been watching, I'm getting through Black Mirror. I've almost finished. Which made me feel less unsettled this season. I feel like, and I don't know if it's I've changed or what, or whether it's like less intense this season. But I remember watching it last season and just being like, I can't fucking handle this. Like it's like playing on my mind so much that I can't sleep. It's like too intense.
Yeah.
Whereas this season, it felt like the right amount of like thought-provoking and interesting and certainly sadder moments, but it wasn't like taking over my whole soul. You know what I mean? I haven't watched anything queer lately other than the episode in that. Spoiler, maybe. I know we wrote about it on Alter Shadow. I did watch, this is the opposite to queer, but I did watch Timothy Chalamet's film where
Which
he's, who is he? The musician?
Fantastic. A Complete Unknown, Bob Dylan. I loved
Bob
it.
Dylan. It was, you know what? I was really pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
I was like not ready because people are going to shout at me. I didn't care so much about Bob Dylan before the film. I don't actually know. I just don't know if it's.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up listening to fucking reggae and Jay-Z.
Yeah.
So I just don't. I know nothing about it. So I was just sort of like
Grocery bag.
Yeah. It's going down basement. And Ludacris, of course. How could we miss him out?
I don't.
We just anyway. He's at the back of my head. But because he was nominated for an Oscar, I care about that stuff. I wanted to like, I was like, I gotta watch it. And I thought he was fucking fantastic. I did
really
think he was
good.
really fucking good.
Listen, I really like that guy.
He's a great actor.
They make you want to hate him.
Totally.
I don't. I really enjoy everything that he's about.
Yeah.
And maybe he's like evil, but whatever. I like him and his sister.
Is he evil?
You know just how people think, how
Because he's
rich famous people, they
sure.
whatever. But I think he's nice. He's cool. He showed up to his little like look-alike contest.
Yeah.
I think that shows some humility, and he was fantastic. You know what I don't get though? I get that films take a really long time. The fact that he was like, this was 5 years in the making. I'm like, why was it 5 years?
Also, you're 12, so how was it 5 years in the making?
I don't know, but they're like, I think because he had to like train to sing and like whatever.
Yeah, too much. Wow.
But yeah, I saw that one in theaters and I liked it.
Oh, okay.
You know who I have a big old crush on now is the actress who plays Joan
Oh,
Baez.
100%. How could you not?
Who I think is dating Andrew Garfield, which I'm like, that's a hot couple.
No way.
Yeah, I think.
She's so hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah,
Wow.
that was good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching a bunch of stuff, but it's not very queer,
Yeah.
which is upsetting.
I know.
Why do I feel like I have another one that is queer and fun to share? Oh, well, Yellow Jackets just ended.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm in love with Lauren Ambrose is my issue.
Okay.
My issue is whenever there's whenever there's a popular sapphic TV show, even if it's a small part of it, I get these fixations. I don't know why. It's kind of fun to have. I don't mind it.
Yeah. Like a little bit like sexy obsession.
it's not even sexy. I'm like, am I in love with her? And I actually explained this to Britt the other
So
night
you
because
wouldn't have sex with her. You would just
no,
take
I'd
it for
absolutely have sex
you
with her,
would,
but
okay,
it's
yeah.
not driven by.
You're not like,
I'm
oh,
not like
she's
I
so
want to
sexy, I
fuck
want to
her.
fuck her.
It's like
yeah.
I want to have children with her and take care of her.
Oh my god, how does Brit feel about that?
So here's the thing: we were I'm on. I obviously don't mean it. She's you know she's married to a man and we'll never meet in my life. You know, it's
If
whatever.
I was Brit, I'd say to you, oh, that's the reason why you. I don't know why I'm being Brit.
Oh, yeah.
That's the reason why
Yeah.
you don't want to be with her because why it's not reasonable because
Yeah.
she has a husband.
But the only reason that I have it is because it's unattainable. Like I don't have these infatuations with like people that I do have in my life. The
Right.
reason that it's even an infatuation and to begin with is because there's so much distance between us.
Right.
It's because she's not on social media. It's because I can't access her. She's not on Instagram. She's like she was like in a lot of projects, like you know, she was in 6 Feet Under and stuff when she was younger. She wasn't in anything for a while, and then she just like comes back as the lesbian character, and I can't even stalk her on Instagram. Like that's why I think that I'm so into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
And no, so I was scrolling on TikTok when Britt and I like are brushing our teeth. Like one of us will have the TikTok for while we brush our teeth, and we'll like scroll. And so we're going through mine, and it's like video, and then it's like Lauren Ambrose fan edit, and then another video, and then Lauren Ambrose fan, and she's like, you're getting a lot of that, and I'm like, yeah, like blah blah. And so I said what I said to you, where I was like, oh, like I'm just so like what. She's like, yeah, it's fine, like you want to fuck her, whatever. And I was like, honestly, it's like really not even like about that. And she was like, great, cool.
Yeah.
She's like, awesome, great. Like
Yeah.
I don't think she like that, but again, I wouldn't have that. You know, it's only because it's
hear
fun
you.
because there's so much distance between us.
You know, once an ex-girlfriend said to me, I was like lusting over some celebrity, and I was like, she's so hot, like da 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 da. And she said to me, she was getting jealous, and I was like, who cares? I don't know this person. Like they're this person, like you know.
Yeah.
And she was like, you've got to understand that like no one is really not attainable. Do you know what I
I
mean?
don't agree with that though.
Like as humans, you could, and we're not in the public eye. You could come across this person at like a queer event. You could lock each other across the room. You could fall in love. Like it could happen.
Yeah.
You know what
Listen, and I have dated someone that I, you know,
That you like,
that I
100%.
like liked from a distance. But like, listen, I'm not. Melanie Linsky's never gonna date me. You know what I mean? Like it's just not gonna happen.
Right.
For whatever reason, Brett has an easier time with Melanie. I think because that's been so long running for me. It's been since I was a kid.
Right.
But
That
I don't
makes
know.
sense.
But that's another one where I'm like, I'm in love with this woman.
Right.
I have feelings for her.
I have actual love feeling. Wow.
Yeah.
I think Em's pretty fun. Someone that sometimes she's like, oh great, is but I forget her name. She's on Em, can you help me out with this
I also
hot
want to help. This is my favorite thing to do.
Okay, no, then
if you tell me
okay,
movies
great. She's really hot. That's not helpful. She's dating Jason Momoa right now.
Lisa no
No.
her Zoe Kravitz's mom. Lisa Bonet.
Yes. Adria.
Adria? I don't know who that is.
Can we have a
Lisa
producer check?
Bonet was dating.
Yeah, no, it's his current girlfriend.
Okay. I don't know if I know who
Can
that
someone
is.
help me out? Okay.
For me, I'm like, this is like how my dad is in love with Penelope Cruz and Salma Hayek. Yeah, let's unpack my dad's two obsessions being Latino women another time. It's like typical Italian New
Yeah,
Yorker.
100%.
Is like,
He's like, yeah.
oh, my hall passes, these two beautiful, bodacious Latino women.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of like Adria Arjona.
I've never heard that name in my life.
She's so sexy,
She's
and I
an
think
actress?
she's an actress and a model and just all the things. And Em's pretty chill about everything, but I think that particular one, and it's probably because I'm so emphatic about it. Like I see her and I'm like, oh my god, she's so sexy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I think mine is also like exaggerated by the fact that Brit doesn't really have like huge celebrity crushes. She doesn't even think that Glenn Powell's hot. I'm like, what's wrong with you?
well,
Okay, whatever. But I'm like, you're a girl.
Sure,
You're
yeah,
supposed to
sure.
think he's hot.
yeah, it's tough. And I think too, like, not that I've been on huge shows, but I've met celebrities. I think once you meet these people, it becomes like they become a normal human, and then it's less. It's less.
Yeah. You can't bring me around Britney.
Shout out
doesn't
Brittany
listen
Snow,
to
we love
this.
you. Brittany's so hot, and she's so cool.
Well,
and
that's
sweet.
another thing where it's like, like so formative for young gay girls. It's so funny to me when people don't know that.
Right, but I don't think she knows that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. She doesn't know. I had to tell you to tell her.
I wonder if I wonder if Brittany Snow knows that. We should message her and tell. Maybe we can send her this clip
The
and
titanium.
say everyone is, you are like a coming out story. You are a part of a coming out story for so many lesbians. In the
titanium scene between her and between her and Anna Kendrick. And all respect to Anna Kendrick, I actually really like her. The sapphicness and sexiness in that scene was from Britney.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's what it was, because like she's like entering and like looking up and like, oh, I can't. But also John Tucker Must Die. Sure. She was in that, right? Yeah. And that was very sapphic. So that's like two huge things for like my generation of lesbian. Like that was huge. So that the fact that she didn't even know, right, if that makes sense, is just
well,
so
I
wild
assume
to
she
me.
doesn't know. I mean, we should definitely ask her. And I don't even know if she's completely straight. I assume she is, but I haven't asked. Yeah. Weird thing to ask, just, off the bat. Hey,
I asked that to start everybody. Be real
hey, I'm Kylo. So
you
completely straight, or what's going on?
I have a quiz you can take.
Yeah. On ultrashadow.com. Am I gay? Shout out to Mal who took the Am I Gay quiz, and it's gay. We should all take it.
We should all take it. Yeah.
I'm really find out if we are or not.
I think I have taken
You've taken it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gay.
Yeah. You are.
Also, my Kinsey scale. I should retake my Kinsey scale. I don't know what my rating on the old one was, but that would have been fun if we knew it. Yeah, and see where I'm at.
Here's a question: do you have any like guilty pleasure things that you watch that you don't talk about often?
Yeah. Totally.
I have quite an embarrassing one.
What is it?
So, and I've watched this forever, and it's just one of those things that I will never stop watching. I don't think, which is Family Guy.
I love Family Guy.
Do you?
Yeah. I actually have a funny thing about Family Guy. I don't think so.
It like I read this article about how like when you watch something that you've watched before, it like relaxes your nervous system.
It's an exact right?
And I really have that with certain shows. And Family Guy is one of those shows for me where like if I'm feeling anxious or I can't sleep or I'm just like in a state, as soon as I watch it, I just like zone out into like comfort zone,
Absolutely.
But because I've watched it for so long, like when a new episode comes out, I can't help it. I'm like, I just need to watch it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though I feel like I've like sort of outgrown it in lots of ways.
Yeah.
What's yours?
I love Family Guy. I haven't watched it in a while, but like in college I Pavlov dogged myself by accident. Like I trained like whenever my college boyfriend and I were gonna fuck, we would like put on Family Guy in the background, and it got to the point where I would get horny when Family Guy
no fucking way. Are you kidding me? No. Family Guy does the opposite to me. I Pavlov dogs myself just by as soon as I put it on, I'm like sleepy.
I'm like ready. It was just sleep. Like we would put that on the background because like we would watch it when we were always so high, but like we had a lot of shows that we watched seriously, so it was like put Family Guy on and
that's so funny.
And it just like became this thing. I don't know, like I don't want to say that this is a guilty pleasure because I do genuinely think it's a great show, but I've watched Superstore start to finish like 4 times.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like America Ferrera leads it, and it's kind of like the answer to The Office, Parks and Rec, like workplace comedy, but it's kind of like taking place at like a Walmart, and like the entire show just takes place in the store. But it's got like a fantastic ensemble cast of like not the biggest stars, but then there's like America Ferrera and like random guest stars and stuff, and it's just one of those. I think that like comedy and TV fans like it, but if you're not like tapped into it, you're like, what the fuck is this show?
Right. But I love shows like that. Like Veep was one of the best shows I've ever watched. I mean,
this is not the from production value to casting and every completely different show. From to me, Veep is one of the best TV shows ever made in history.
I 100% agree.
I don't categorize it as like a comedy thing. Like that's some of the best writing I've ever and
acting. And, and
Julia Louis-Dreyfus, insane.
100%.
I can't like Veep. I've watched I think 6 times at least.
Right.
One of the best ever.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like other guilty pleasures. There was something that I was watching recently where I was like, "Oh, Britt, you're doing something. Can I watch my bad show?" What was it? Oh my God, I have such a bad memory. Like, I also watch so much TV, but I watched something recently and I'm like, yeah, this is a bad show, but I really like it. Fuck. I don't know.
I have one like that I watch when Em's not in. I have Tracker. Have you ever watched Tracker on Hulu?
Mm-mm.
It's like one of those episodic, like, you know, that basically it's like SVU. Like every fucking thing is the same. It's a different version of the same thing every episode. Oh, another guilty pleasure I watched was Lucifer on Netflix. I
Oh
watched
yeah,
for a
that
little
looks
bit
bad.
because I like it's fairly bad. There's few hot people in it.
Yeah.
And the lead actor's British, and I've like watched his career, so I watched that. But it's so cheesy.
Yeah. Oh, I'm really,
I
really.
shouldn't say those things. Also, cast me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like whatever. It's a huge show, but
I'm like really upset that I can't remember what my bad show was. It'll come back to me like later. But yeah, I mean like Grey's Anatomy, I've watched a million bajillion times. I also think fantastic TV, but like it's a guilty, you know, quote unquote guilty pleasure.
Have you watched the recent ones?
So here's another thing where I again I hate putting it in guilty pleasure, but Caitlin Olsen from Always Sunny is in a new show called oh my God, it just finished a couple weeks ago. I keep wanting to call it one of her old shows, but she plays this like she's like I don't want to say clairvoyant. She's like a savant. Like she's really really smart, but like can never keep a job because of this. She's like very gifted.
Okay.
And she starts like consulting for the police department.
Oh, it sounds like my perfect show.
And it's like it's like low budge, you know, and like not like fantastic, but she's really great in it, and it's really fun to see her get good roles. I can't believe High Potential.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but it's so funny because I'm watching it and I'm watching the show and I'm starting to recite the words, and I'm like, why am I doing this scene right now? And I'm like, Britt self-taped for this. not for Caitlin's role, but for a small role in one of the episodes. And I'm like, why can I do this scene right now? And I was like, Britt, you gotta come in here. You did the show.
Why am I so tapped into the scene? I can't I mean, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
That's great. Very cool.
Yeah, those are my guilty pleasures.
Yeah.
Anything that I like that's a cop show, I think of a guilty pleasure because I'm like, I know everyone's like propaganda.
Right?
Yeah, but not even that. Like, True Detective, because so many people are like not watching it, propaganda, like whatever, and I'm like, cop shows are so fun.
Yeah, they're good.
I don't like cops, but I like
shows
about them.
Yeah.
But no reality TV for me. I can't do it.
You can't do it?
I get a superiority complex, and I don't like being in that space. It's not healthy for me.
That's so interesting.
Like if I watch like reality dating shows or like people who are like constantly making stupid decisions or like getting themselves into conflict or like whatever, I'm like, I am better than you. I would never make that decision. I would never do what you're doing, and I don't like putting myself
like you don't like feeling.
I don't
like
like feeling like that.
100%.
Yeah, because I don't feel like that often. But like when I'm just like, oh, I would never do like.
Right.
I can't believe you just did that, and I don't like doing that.
Right. I don't get that, but what happens to me when I watch some reality TV is that like I get secondhand embarrassment. Yeah. And I'm like on my couch sort of like squirming around, and I'm like, this is supposed to be a relaxing time in my evening for me, so I don't want to do this anymore. But I've been liking reality TV. Oh my God, a guilty pleasure. Of course. Sorry, but I'll admit it, the Kardashians. I watch them.
Oh, yeah, no.
And we've watched it. It's just so everyone's gonna flip out on me. It's entertaining. Sometimes
of course it's entertaining.
Sometimes in a way where you're like, you guys are fucking problematic, ridiculous, whatever. And other times in a way that it's like hilarious or like, you know, it's never relatable, but it's always entertaining. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And yeah, so that has got to be the ultimate guilty
listen,
pleasure.
there's a reason why the show is as popular as it is.
100%.
Yeah.
Man.
And then my guilty pleasure listening is like, and you share this with me, is like, I'm obsessed with true crime. I love true crime.
100%.
You can try to cancel me as many times as you want for loving true crime. It's not gonna happen.
Who's
you know
who
else?
You?
You know I'm the fan. Bringing it back to like the Lauren Ambrose thing. Karen Kilgariff, in love with her. She's not on Instagram. I cannot access her. I will never have access to her, and I am in love with her for it.
I understand. Okay, so I'm starting to understand that you have this thing that like
Older women who are like unattainable
get.
and I
You're
cannot
like-
access them. They
Yeah.
don't know how to use a phone. No, I'm just kidding. But they don't care to be online because they're so cool
Right.
that they don't need to be on Instagram.
right. Are
That's
you
so hot.
in hypothetically
She's
speaking?
divorced. She's sober. I'm like, oh. I'm obsessed with her.
Hypothetically speaking, if you had access, say you were single,
Yeah.
and you have access to one of these women,
Yeah.
would then the passion of it go away?
No, I don't think so.
Are you problematic like that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think I'd be like,
Let's go.
what can I'll do anything for you.
Yeah. No, I understand. That makes sense. Speaking of guilty pleasures, okay, so we know from an anonymous insider that Queer Ultimatum 2 is coming out at some point. And so I'm excited about that. We're going to do a watch party.
I was going to say, I think it's public info.
Okay, great. Public info, so I'm not in trouble.
Kylo just wants to feel
No.
included.
Well, I want to tell everybody that we're going to do a watch party,
Yeah.
which will be exciting.
I'll do that for the fun of the game, but I'm not really going to watch because it's reality.
You've got to come to the watch party.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'll do it
Okay, great.
and I'll support.
Good. Well, that was our very big, for no reason, queer media corner.
Yeah. I think it was kind of just media, but honestly, I think that's fun because I think that if we were only ever watching queer media, we're not going to have super enough to watch.
Totally. I'm obsessed with, and I can't remember her name, and now it's going to be ridiculous.
See, I want to do this.
So she's just dropped a trailer for a new movie where she's British.
Yeah.
She's doing an action movie. She
Okay.
was in Little Women.
Yeah, not Saoirse Ronan
No.
because she's Irish. Okay.
She's English.
Yeah. Not Emma.
No.
Okay. She was in she was in Greta Gerwig's
Yeah.
Little Women. Okay, and it's not the one that dies. The blonde one.
Yeah.
It is.
Maybe.
She was in
No. She did. Fuck, I can't remember.
because it's Saoirse Ronan.
Yeah.
Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh.
Oh yeah. Well, she's in Thunderbolt. She's in the new Marvel movie.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But there's another one, or that's the action movie you're talking about?
No, I think it's a different one.
Oh, okay.
Really? Is it? All I saw was her.
Thunderbolts is like the big thing that's coming out.
All I saw was her little clip on her Instagram of her actually jumping off a building.
I
Did
think
you
it's
see that?
I think it might be Thunderbolts.
Okay, she actually jumped off.
Yeah.
Obviously with.
I
help.
like her a lot.
I'm obsessed with her. I think
Yeah.
she's so sexy
Yeah.
and so talented, and I just think she's amazing.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah. Just a side note, she just popped into my head.
Yeah. Yep.
Should we do tea time? I was gonna say tea corner, but that's not right. Tea
Tea
time.
time. Yeah. So I have kind of like a medical update,
No
which
way.
is crazy. Yeah, and I don't know if you're I don't think it's squeamish or like anything, but I hit on a couple weeks ago. I hit 1 year on tea, and I'm finally going through like my atrophy.
No way.
Yeah, and like kind
tell
of
me
going
about
through menopause. So to the people that are also in the room, just warning that this is TMI, but like I'm experiencing like really bad cramping pain after orgasm.
Okay.
And I was like, that's a while on my period is what I should say. So the whole month of March, I like didn't have my period. And I
Okay.
was like, oh my God,
You're
it's
like, I've
finally
stopped.
gone.
Yeah.
Like, that's so cool. And then on April 1st,
Boom.
which is not typically
April
like
Fools.
where I would get it. I got it, but it was super light, and mine are typically very heavy. It was super light. It was really chill, and it lasted like 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
But I noticed that when I was, reaching an orgasm in those 4 days, it hurt like just not during, just immediately after. I would
Okay.
get these really bad, like painful cramps.
Huh.
And I was like, like I should check in, I should ask somebody about that. And then I forgot about it. And then I asked my trans guy group chat the other day. And the 3 people who have been on T for longer than I have were like, oh, that's like I totally experienced that. Like I think it's connected to atrophy. So then I was like Googling it. And I think that must be what it is.
Only when you're on your period you get the cramps?
Yeah, like, but that's the only data I have now. Like, maybe it hasn't happened off the period, but like maybe it would. I was getting weird cramps like last night, but there was no sex or period involved, so I don't really know. But I was just like, oh God, like if I was so not used to that, like
Right.
being a thing. But the other things of because the other signs of atrophy would be like irritation and like dryness, and like I haven't experienced that yet. But I'm like, okay, menopause is upon me, I guess.
Have you had any other? Because in my mind, and maybe you should educate me, and I don't know.
Well, we'll see
Atrophy
about
is like, it is, as in it's. Can you explain what it actually
It's
means?
kind of just like the I don't want to use the word like dying. It's like the diminishing of that
The
tissue and
yeah.
muscle, I think. Like when you think of muscle atrophy, it's like when your muscle goes away and it gets like, thin and weak. And I always understood it to be like vaginal atrophy. Like my doctor, when I first started T, told me it was like your vagina and like the canal of it is gonna get, it could get dry, right? And smaller, and like penetrative sex can start to feel painful. You might get irritated and like whatever, but like you just like use a cream and like bada bing bada boom, you're done. But what I didn't realize is there's also like your cervix atrophies as well, and I think that's what the cramping is. Is my cervix atrophying.
Damn.
And maybe that's why the period goes away, because you're no longer shedding your lining. I don't know. Listen, I'm not a doctor, but that was like the big up. I was like, wow, I finally have like an update, which is I was just like, oh god, that fucking hurt.
Damn.
Yeah.
The only thing I can relate to this, and maybe you're gonna be like, nope, Kylo, completely wrong. But do you orgasm in your sleep ever?
No. I don't. Not that I know of.
No.
No. Maybe that'll be a new part of my night terrors.
It wouldn't be a terror. It'd be a night pleasure.
Well,
Well, actually, is it? Because what I'm about to say is I orgasm in my sleep a lot. And
how do you know? Are you woken up by, or you wake up and you're...
Well, no, I'm about to tell you. I know because it's so... If you can imagine coming without touching yourself, there's like... my body's almost cramping to make it happen.
Yeah.
And so what wakes me up is like the pain
like
of
a Charlie
the cramping.
Horse?
What is that?
A Charlie horse?
Yeah.
Like the back of your calf. Like when I come really hard, my like this muscle, like...
I think that's just a calf cramp.
This muscle cramps.
Yeah.
And then I have to go like, ooh. You've never heard of a Charlie horse before?
No.
Oh. I think
and
they're
also,
international.
Are you low on salt? That's a cramp. That's what cramp in the leg is.
No, it's because I really like lock in and stretch my leg when I'm
okay, got it.
orgasm, and then the muscles like ugh. You get it for running and exercising too, but yeah, it's because I'm flexing those muscles.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's painful. It is both pleasurable and painful. So I usually wake up. God, I don't know if maybe I'm the only one this happens to. I like cramp in my sleep, and then I guess because my body's trying to orgasm, and then the cramping of that is painful, and then I usually wake up coming.
Wow.
Which sounds like really pleasurable, but actually it's like pretty like
disorienting.
It's disorienting. It's like pretty painful. I think it's the equivalent of like a wet dream for
probably.
For a dude,
Is that gender affirming for you? A gender affirming wet dream?
Well, to be honest, I feel it very in my fucking. It feels like in my set. It feels like really deep inside me, and I don't love that. And usually my
orgasm. Is this place haunted?
You think someone's having sex with me? Who said that?
Maybe.
What was the celebrity that said that?
What do you mean?
There was a celebrity that was like,
somebody,
a ghost came in and like had sex with me in the night. I was like, dude, that's just a wet dream.
That wasn't Katy Perry, was it?
No, was it? Producer check on the celebrity that said that they had.
Hold on, I really want to guess because I know who this was and was like, oh yeah, like.
Lucy Liu. And Nicole Smith. That's who I thought. That's who I was thinking of.
No, I'm thinking of someone.
Who else?
Coco Jones, like Ice-T's wife.
Ice-T's wife. That is hilarious.
Ice-T's like, wasn't me.
Yeah, exactly. Kesha sounds very Kesha-like as well.
Oh, maybe it's Kesha who I'm thinking of and not
really?
Katy Perry.
Yeah. I was thinking of Anna Nicole Smith.
I was thinking of like a modern,
Okay, that was like the very. It was a very famous one at the time when she was basically like saying that. Anyway.
Wait, is there any more? Because Kesha feels satisfying, but I do think that it was.
It's like, I don't know. It's his name. Devin Sawa.
No.
This actress Paz de la Huerta from Boardwalk Empire.
No.
Oh my God, everyone's having sex in the night with ghosts.
Maybe I'm thinking of someone who said it was aliens.
Oh.
I'll Google it later.
Okay, so
Kesha
maybe
feels satisfying and Anna Nicole Smith.
Anna Nicole Smith, yeah.
Who is Anna?
So maybe
who is Anna Nicole Smith?
Maybe a ghost is coming and having sex in the night. Here's what I was going to say. It doesn't feel that affirming because I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think usually I'm having a clitoral orgasm in my day to day, and I think in the night I'm having like an internal orgasm, which I'm not used to. And so it feels, as soon as I wake up, it feels like both painful and also quite like intrusive or something.
Yeah, like a ghost is fucking you. That's what it sounds like.
Oh my god.
You should like leave a post-it note somewhere on your body when you go to sleep and be like, hey, oral only, please.
That's so stressful.
Wow, that's so interesting.
So that's my tea time, which isn't probably tea time. But that's so good. So you're not in pain day to day?
No, with the cramps?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. But that's that's a year. So to give people context, that's a year in of you taking like a pretty substantial dose of tea. Yeah.
Well,
right?
like a standard dose. Yeah. And I think that it's like, I think that a year mark is like a pretty standard time for that to start happening. I'm pretty sure from what I looked up. Not that anything is standard with HRT, but like that's it. It's like, okay, yeah, about a year. Sure.
But how do you feel like that? Because I know you enjoy penetrative sex. Are you worried about not being able to do that, or
I'm not like too
painful?
worried about it. I'm like I'm like having that less and less anyway. But no, I'm not like too worried about it. In my like
it less
current
and less
situation.
Because of that, or because
no, just like kind of naturally, because the bottom growth is like that's what I'm focusing on. Yeah.
How much growth?
A micro penis.
Really?
Yeah.
Like significant?
Yeah, like it's like probably.
No
like
way.
Yeah.
I didn't think I knew that.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
Amazing. I can like feel it get hard. It's kind of insane, actually.
No way.
Yeah, it's like a little jarring for me personally on my own body when I'm like get out of the shower and I look at it, because it's so different from
sure.
Like it looks like it's a clit, but it looks like a penis, and I'm like, whoa, like
right.
That's a shaft and that's a head. That's
right.
crazy. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like
I have not experienced
like
that at all.
still the same like color and everything, but it's big, and like if it's you can see it's visible.
Like
you know what I mean? It's not like hidden by lips or like anything like that. It's like whoa.
Is it rubbing on your like boxes or anything like that?
Here and there. Honestly, what happens is when I wear my packer, it's like, which all my guy friends say the same thing of like
it's rubbing on it.
Yeah, and I'm like,
and you're horny.
Yeah. But no, not like in my boxers right now or like anything.
Oh, okay.
But it's really, sensitive.
Wow, these are big milestones.
Yeah. Well, because I've had that. It was like one of the first things was that started to grow, but I guess like now it's like it's getting bigger.
I guess I didn't know it was like really like it was at the stage where you could see it.
Yeah. It's been like at that stage for like a little while, but I think like recently it's just been getting even bigger, which is crazy.
Has that changed your orgasm? I'm starting to feel like maybe it's just in my head, but I don't know if the testosterone is changing my orgasm a little bit. Do you feel that?
Maybe a little bit.
Like not
because
good or
it's
bad,
like more
just
sensitive.
like just like different. It feels different.
Yeah, well, like almost immediately when I started T, my orgasm started changing, because remember I had said it went from like not that it's not full body anymore, but like when I was like pre-T and like having like lesbian sex, it was like full body, like, and now it is very centered to like genitals, I guess. Yeah. And not to say that I'm not still having this like really like incredible orgasm, but it's like very much like, oh, that's where it's coming from now.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
But that was pretty like that happened pretty quickly.
Yeah.
To be honest.
That's me anyway, except for go sex,
Yeah,
except for the go sex. When I'm having full body.
Yeah.
Full body orgasms. Huh. I hope they're hot. That's all I hope.
Yeah. What if they aren't?
What if they are?
Yeah.
Then that's non-consensual, ghost, if you can hear me.
Has that always happened to you?
Yeah, when I was younger, if I didn't masturbate often, it would happen.
Yeah.
But now...
Oh, because you just needed to release.
Because I think I just need to release. Now, yeah, it has always happened to me.
Yeah.
And it happens like fairly regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel alone, so if that happens to anyone else, please let me know.
I'm sure it's happening to other people. There's so many haunted houses. No, but I'm sure that's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so we chatted a lot about media and queer media. I want to give a little shout out to what we kind of do here outside of the podcast for people who might not know.
For sure, because actually I received a few comments. The first thing is, I think people don't know that we are connected to autostraddle.com. So Good Boys, yes, sits under For Them, but we are all one entity. So For Them and Autostraddle are one entity now. Why are we one entity? Because we really, really care about independent queer media, and we wanted to keep it alive. And we've merged teams, and it's all very beautiful and wonderful.
Yeah, it's been over a year now.
It's been over a year since we merged.
Yeah.
And I think to shout out too a little bit about how right now, independent media as a whole, even not queer, is struggling, which is really problematic when you think about our political climate and the people that are in charge of big media companies. And so I feel very passionately about Autostraddle because because we're truly independent, and so everything that we put out is not only editorial independent, but it's also always from a queer POV. And we'll always do
or
that.
trans, or but I guess
sure,
you could
queer or
include
trans
that.
POV,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's really awesome. I was always like a really big fan of Autostraddle, and so it's cool. And then so this is also just kind of another version of queer media. Instead of written and published, it's just two guys chatting the shit.
Yeah. But I think that it's so important to continue these types of queer media. And have those perspectives out there. I think that's what Autostraddle does.
Yeah,
really.
and I'm lucky enough I get to write for Autostraddle here and there about pop culture stuff, queer stuff. I've interviewed a lot of cool queer and trans people and stuff, but all of that is to say is that, to keep the wheels going and to make sure we can keep doing this. This is why we do stuff like have the AF Media and AF Plus memberships, a little bit of a couple dollars, as low as $4 a month, to contribute to queer media, making sure that queer people not only get to write, but queer people have stuff that they can read. And the cool thing about that is, it's the juicy stuff that gets paywalled. You'll never have a paywall for what's Trump up to,
right?
Or really important stuff about gender affirming care or something like that. But for really deeply personal essays, juicy sex stuff, and some fun bonus content here and there, bonus episodes from Good Boys, is going to be behind that paywall. Yeah.
And so if you can and want to support for $4 a month, also you supporting means that a queer or trans person can read all of these resources for free, essentially. Which is really good.
And there's a decade at least of other paywalled stuff that you can just go back and read.
100%, 14 years of it.
Yeah, that's crazy. 14 years.
14
that's almost
years
as old
of
as I am.
queer. Exactly. 14 years of queer content.
Yeah, that's so
queer
sick.
And trans content. It's amazing.
Yeah, and depending on what you sign up for, you can get 30% off of, you're in need of a new binder. Bang, there you go.
Bang. Also,
30% off.
We're actually launching, and we haven't told a bunch of people this yet, but I think it's fine. We're launching a zine, a physical zine. And so folks that are on AF Plus membership, you'll get a physical zine, which is all our, best and sexiest and most informative articles in a beautiful physical form to your house. Once a quarter.
And you know what else members can buy right now?
Tell me.
Good Boys hat.
Oh my gosh. Is that actually live?
Yeah.
Okay, great. We have live
this week.
Good Boys.
And they'll be
Good Boys hat if you're a good boy.
Yeah.
And if you're not, maybe you want to convince people
you're
striving
to be.
Yeah, exactly.
It might help someone. If someone's really not a good boy, but they start wearing the good boy hat, it might just start sinking into their brain.
100%.
Or people will start treating them like a good boy, and they'll be like, wait, this feels amazing.
Exactly.
But we'll have more Good Boys merch as we go. Maybe some tees and
we have some necklaces.
Yeah,
coming
and some fun stuff.
Yeah.
But that'll be for members, just to make sure that people contribute and get the fun stuff.
Totally.
We'll put it in the show notes where you can sign up. But it's www. How many W's did I just say? www.
Do we still say www?
What else would I say?
I just think these days. Autostraddle.com,
okay.
Right?
forthem.com/membership is where you can go ahead and buy that.
Yeah. Any questions, let us know. We're around to answer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Good boy, Kylo.
Good boy, Motti.